Do you know how to rewrite your future? I discovered a secret that granted me the power to rewrite my future. Since then, for over a decade, I've been intentionally creating my life's path by design. Does this sound like some kind of spiritual nonsense? Actually, it's not. This is grounded in modern physics. Let me share with you a proven way to genuinely transform your life, something that most people believe is impossible. Hi, I'm the Japanese urban sage. And today I'll share a story that might completely overturn your perspective about life. A story so eye-opening that you'll find yourself thinking, "Oh, so that's how it works." By the end of this, you'll understand exactly how to intentionally create your future and change your life. Here's the structure of this video. The foundation: 2 types of reality. Why we struggle to rewrite our future. The truth about our lives. How to rewrite your future. Let's dive into part 1. The 2 types of reality. What is reality? Surprisingly, reality exists in 2 forms. Objective reality. Subjective reality. Reality as perceived in your mind. Let's start with subjective reality, the reality we experience in our minds. We perceive the world through our brains, which means the reality we experience is constructed in our minds. It's not reality itself, but our brain's interpretation of it. However, alongside this mental reality, there is also objective reality, which exists independently of our perceptions. For example, if someone uses a dangerous drug, they might see ghosts or demons. These hallucinations feel very real to them, but in objective reality, no ghosts are actually present. The experience exists only in their mind. In this way, reality can be divided into the objective, what actually exists, and the subjective, what we perceive through our brain. Why we struggle to rewrite our future. As humans, we are naturally wired to think in certain ways, such as binary thinking, black and white thinking, strong biases and assumptions. This leads us to think about our own lives in rigid terms, assuming, "My life will probably go this way." For instance, someone might think, "My life isn't that great. It'll probably just continue like this." Others might imagine, "My life is going to be amazing. Everything will work out perfectly." Or someone might create a life plan like, "I'll get married at 30, buy a house at 35, and so on." How about you? What image do you hold of your own future? The issue is that this rigid way of thinking leads us to believe in a single version of our future as if it's set in stone. But here's the truth. That image of your future exists only in your mind. It's a fantasy. It's not objective reality. It's not what's happening right now. It's a mental construct, similar to how a hallucination exists only in someone's brain. This is why unexpected things happen in life that make you think, "Why is this happening? This wasn't supposed to happen." It's because the future you imagined was just a mental projection, not grounded in the reality of infinite possibilities. The truth about our lives in objective reality. So, if our mental image of the future is just an illusion, what does life look like in objective reality? Modern physics, specifically quantum mechanics, suggests that our future consists of countless possibilities. Each moment in our lives unfolds based on probabilities. For example, you might imagine your life going in a certain direction. But tomorrow, you could experience a car accident that changes everything. Or you might meet someone tomorrow who alters the entire course of your life. While these scenarios may seem unlikely, they are still within the realm of possibility. In objective reality, your future consists of an immense number of potential outcomes, each with its own probability. Most likely, your future will follow the patterns of your past because that's the path with the highest probability, but it's not guaranteed. External factors, like other people or global events, can dramatically shift the course of your life. For instance, when the global pandemic hit in 2020, many of us thought, "This wasn't supposed to happen." But it did, reshaping countless lives in unexpected ways. In quantum mechanics, this is explained by the idea that the future exists as probabilities until it's observed. Observation causes one of the many possible outcomes to become reality. This idea isn't just scientific theory, it's also a mindset embraced by many successful people worldwide. They understand that the future is not fixed and remain open to multiple possibilities. So, why do we struggle to adapt to this truth? Because our brains prefer simplicity. Instead of considering the complexity of probabilities, we instinctively simplify our future into one fixed path, thinking, "This is how my life will be." But this mental shortcut limits us from seeing the full range of possibilities and preparing for them. In short, our lives are full of potential possibilities. Yet, we often convince ourselves, "This is just how my life is going to be," and decide, "My life will go this way," and end up like that, limiting ourselves to one outcome. What happens then? We lose the motivation to intentionally create our future. If you've already concluded, "My life will inevitably turn out this way," you won't even consider the possibility of shaping your own future. That's why understanding this is so important. If you don't understand this fundamental idea that the future is not fixed, and multiple possibilities exist simultaneously, then you'll never adopt the mindset or take the actions needed to intentionally create your future. On the flip side, this concept boils down to beliefs, our assumptions and preconceived notions about life. It's about your view of life. Your view of life is shaped by questions like, "What is my life all about?" and "How is my life being created?" When your worldview shifts, as in this discussion, you can no longer dismiss your potential by saying, "Whatever, my life is just going to end up like this anyway. There's no point in trying. My future is already set in stone." You can't remain indifferent anymore because, scientifically speaking, the future is not predetermined. It evolves based on your current choices, thoughts, and actions. As your worldview transforms, so does your mindset, often unconsciously. You might catch yourself thinking, "Wait a minute. I can't just irresponsibly say effort is useless. What if I'm wrong?" This shift naturally changes both your conscious and unconscious thoughts and actions. And as your actions accumulate, they begin to reshape your reality, your life. Yes, your life truly begins to change. How to rewrite the future? Creating a new, previously non-existent future is simple. Set a clear goal, like "I want to become this," or "I will achieve that." For example, if you set the goal of finding your dream job, you're no longer trapped in the thought, "I guess I'll just stay stuck in this job forever." At first, the possibility of achieving your dream job is practically zero, let's call it 0%. It simply doesn't exist in your life yet. But the moment you declare, "I'm going to find my dream job," that possibility appears. The odds may still be low, perhaps 5%, but that's a significant leap from 0%. Why? Because you've set a clear intention, aligning yourself with the idea of already having that future as described in the law of attraction. But just thinking about it isn't enough. Most of us are prone to maintaining the status quo, so without further action, it's likely you'll continue with your current routine and never pursue that dream. However, if you go a step further and embed that goal into your subconscious, things change dramatically. Your chances of taking actions toward that dream job rise substantially, perhaps to 30%. Given that 95% of our thoughts and actions are driven by the subconscious, setting a clear goal and embedding it deeply can trigger real, tangible change. Add to that a high self-image, believing, "Of course, I can get my dream job," and taking deliberate steps to improve your skills. Suddenly, your odds shoot up to over 60 to 70%. It's important to note, though, that even this increase in probability doesn't guarantee success. External factors, like unexpected responsibilities or societal pressures, can still play a role. This is why intentionally creating your desired future is about increasing probabilities, not guaranteeing outcomes. But probabilities can absolutely be improved. The journey of a man who discovered the secret. Growing up, my grandmother, a former teacher, repeatedly told me, "Become a schoolteacher. It's a stable government job." So, I firmly believed I'm going to be a teacher. That was the only future I could imagine for myself. As mentioned earlier, countless potential futures exist, and any of them could lead to happiness. But I was convinced. My future is to be a teacher. Any other path is a failure. This black and white thinking dominated my life. When I became a substitute teacher for middle school, I faced a harsh reality. I was bullied by my students and overwhelmed by the job. I quit after a year, feeling like a complete failure. Why is this happening to me? My life wasn't supposed to turn out this way. Unemployed and bitter, I resented my grandmother, my students, and my life. Later, I found a job at a small company and shifted my belief. Okay, I'm meant to be a corporate worker. But that didn't work out either. My daily life felt like torture. I was constantly criticized, struggled with relationships, and felt trapped. Every night, I found solace in books about Zen and spirituality, dreaming of a life as free as a sage. Desperate to escape, I began practicing methods to reprogram my subconscious. And then something profound happened. My way of thinking changed. I began to see life differently. Instead of rigid, binary thinking, I developed a mindset that considered multiple possibilities simultaneously. I realized, wait a second. My future isn't set in stone, it's full of potential. With this shift in awareness, my childhood programming, "I must be a teacher," was replaced with the understanding that my future could be intentionally created. It hit me. I have the power to create new possibilities for my future. And so, I began to do just that. Living freely like a sage. It may sound far-fetched, but for someone who used to think, my life is bound to turn out like this, such an idea would never have even crossed their mind, a new possibility that was unimaginable before. But what if? If the future is not fixed at this moment? And in reality, our futures exist as multiple probabilities simultaneously, then we can create new possibilities. And it's entirely possible for life to actually progress toward those intentionally created possibilities. At this point, the likelihood of life moving in the desired direction might still be low. However, by embedding your goals into your subconscious, boosting your self-image, and working to improve your abilities, you can increase the probability of steering your life in the direction you truly desire. Living freely like a sage. This means living a life where you're liberated from all kinds of limitations, both mental and practical, and feeling overwhelming freedom. It's a life where even your name doesn't define you, where you exist as a nameless sage. As a modern sage, free even from the traditional image of living alone in the mountains. You live in the urban world of today. Such a life, as a modern-day sage, was a completely new pattern of life that didn't exist among the possibilities I had previously imagined. I had never seen an example of it in my life nor even considered it. No precedent? If there's no precedent, then create one yourself. The future is not set at this moment. The future is merely a collection of potential patterns, each with its own probability of coming to life. So why not create the desired pattern of the future yourself? Then, raise the probability of actually transitioning into that pattern. How? Set your goals. Become the kind of person capable of achieving those goals. Specifically, build a high self-image, believe, of course, I can achieve that. Work on improving your skills to the point where achieving that goal becomes realistic. As you do this, the likelihood of stepping into your intentionally created desired future pattern begins to rise. It's important to note this is about increasing probabilities, not guaranteeing outcomes. Still, if the odds improve, there's no harm in pursuing it. A decade later, it feels like I've come so far. At this point, there's no turning back, nor do I need to. Living freely like a sage. To others, I might seem weird or crazy. Whether that's good or bad doesn't matter, it's my life, and I get to decide how I feel about it. And honestly, I feel like I've come quite close to the desired future pattern I envisioned back then. I am deeply grateful for that. Thank you, truly. The power of authentic desire. For many people, becoming rich or becoming famous is their desired future pattern. But for me, it wasn't about becoming rich, it was about freedom from money. And this distinction is incredibly important. Why? Because unless it's something you genuinely desire from your heart, it becomes much harder to increase the probability of moving toward that future. It makes sense, right? If your desire to become rich is vague or driven by social pressure, you simply won't have enough energy to pursue it. That's why understanding what you truly desire is key. Even if your initial goal is something like, I want to be rich and admired, that desire may evolve over time, as explained in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. As your level of consciousness grows, basic desires like becoming rich or becoming famous may no longer align with what you truly want. The higher your level of consciousness, the stronger your self-actualization and self-transcendence needs become, aligning with your true desires. If you set goals like becoming rich or becoming famous out of habit or external pressure, but they don't align with your true desires, you may find yourself lacking the energy to pursue them. Why? Because your conscious mind might say, I want this, while your subconscious doesn't truly believe it. To resolve this, you need to align with your true desires. For instance, I want to be rich, but more importantly, I want to be free from the constraints of money. Understanding and acknowledging what you truly want, even if it seems unconventional, is essential. This requires digging deep into your core beliefs and building a solid sense of self. The balance between success and happiness. As you grow, your goals may shift from simply achieving external success to achieving personal fulfillment. For instance, I want to be successful, but I also want to be happy. This balance between success and happiness becomes increasingly important as your awareness expands. The importance of reflection. Over time, or with changes in your life stage, what you truly desire may evolve. That's why it's essential to occasionally pause and ask yourself, what do I genuinely want to experience in life? Key takeaways. The future is not fixed. It's a collection of possibilities, each with its own probability. By actively working to increase the likelihood of moving toward your truly desired future, you can steer your life in that direction. At the same time, remember, life is unpredictable. Since you can't control reality 100%, it's vital to cultivate inner happiness that isn't dependent on external circumstances. This leads to invincible self-mastery. In upcoming videos, I'll dive deeper into how to build this invincible self. By mastering both your reality and your inner world, you can live like a modern sage, content and free, regardless of external outcomes. Thank you for watching till the end. I deeply appreciate your time.